So here we go, Port Town 2 tutorial. Port Town 2 is a really cool track because it's kind of the same map as Port Town 2 in the Super Nintendo version of F-Zero, but it has such a lot of great corners for drifting that we can really have some fun with this in F-Zero X. There's even the potential for some shortcuts and even some really cool floating antics that we will see in later strategies. The staff coast gets a 138. I think that should be a piece of cake for every strategy and for everyone to beat, if you know a few tricks. So we'll start out with a grip-based driving style, taking it really conservative, but you can beat it by over 10 seconds already just by doing grip-based driving. So let's watch this first. So there we go, 127 potential for the first grips driving style strategy. 10 seconds faster already than the staff coast. The goal time is 134, so I'm taking it easy with the goal time because you don't want to spend too much time on a fantastic drifting track like this to play grip style. Nevertheless, it's pretty efficient for beating the staff coast. So let's analyze it. So you will notice first of all that playing with the King Meteor. King Meteor is a very good ship for this strategy, even though the Twin Narita might be just a little bit faster. It has a B body, so if you happen to hit the rails, yeah, it can take a hit. It also still has a B boost, so it's pretty fast. So yeah, for the first jump, do the usual drum style strategy, dive down just a little bit and even out for your land. Doesn't really matter too much for this one. What does matter for this track a lot is managing your side attacks to keep your grip around the corners. You see, for almost every corner you need side attacks to make it through. And the trick of side attacking first and then side attack rapidly while you move along the apex of a corner is really what's gonna win you a lot of time on this track. So for this corner, for instance, as well, yeah, you have to use some side attacks to stay on the inside. So most of the corners are too sharp to really start side attacking and then just move along, so you have to stir into them a little bit, especially for this corner coming up. This is the hairpin, the sharpest corner on the track. On lap 1 it's not too bad, but on lap 2 and 3 it will be pretty bad to get through that cleanly. So the King Meteors has a little bit more grip than the Twin Orita as well, so that makes it also just a little bit easier to play this track. On this final corner you don't have to use side attacks, you can just stay on the inside and gradually stir along the inside of it. Now there's sort of a chicane turn coming up near the end of the race that's always very tricky. The faster you go, of course, the more tricky it will be. So there's two big refillers on this track as well, what's interesting. That means there's a lot of potential for boosting, manual boosting, because you can refill a lot. So you can also boost a lot, and that's what we will be doing. Of course, get the dash plates as well. But if you're manually boosting, that means that you are going so fast that you really need to be good at doing side attacks, side attack, side attack, side attack, to go along these corners cleanly and on the inside. So being able to side attack rapidly and find the right positions before the corners to go along the inside of them is key to getting fast times with grip-based driving on this track. So already after this corner, first refiller. So of course we want to get that whole thing, and we can refill quite a bit already just in the middle of the race. Now this corner, what you could see me do, go all the way to the right side, steer into it quite a bit and then side attack. That's what I always say that you shouldn't do, but for this corner there's no other way. So if you steer into it quite a bit and then side attack, you lose your grip and you regain it by the side attack. You lose a lot of speed, but that's the only way to steer sharp enough to go along the apex of the hairpin and go through that cleanly. Keep on boosting here. Yeah, you have to use some side attacks to get through that last chicane turn cleanly as well. Now you refill completely at the end of the race, so keep on boosting into lap 3. We're going quite a bit faster than lap 2 as well. Stay on the inside here with some side attacks. Boost once more. Side attack again. Yeah, so on this little part there's too much corners following each other rapidly to boost. So boost here again, because this section is relatively safe to drive by the stripy texture. Here we go. Go through the refiller. Now watch what I do. Go all the way right, steer into it, and then side attack, and you will see you really lose a lot of speed by doing such a move, but it allows you to steer into it very sharply. Very tricky last chicane turn, always very dangerous at the end of the race. Keeping a little bit of energy just as a safety precaution. You can use that energy as well, that's up to you. And well, it's 127. Staff coach is a piece of cake. So here we go, Port Town 2, Strategy 2. Now we're moving to the drifting stuff. Drifting on this track is a lot faster, over 10 seconds faster than grip-based driving, even with without any advanced moves. And and it's a lot more fun in my opinion, so let's watch it. And the goal time is pretty strong on this. 121 is not easy at all, but I think it's fair, and you can beat it by quite some margin as well too. So here we go, 115 potential. That's 17 seconds faster than the last strategy. Or, I mean 12 seconds faster. So, drifting Port Town 2 is a lot of fun. You can really optimize this, and so let's analyze. If 121 is faster than your PB, all that really says is that it makes more sense to improve with this strategy first, that it makes sense to move to a more difficult strategy that I will show next to improve. So it makes more sense in that case to improve with this strategy until you reach about 121, at which point I think it makes sense to move to the last strategy. So as you can see, immediately you can do an air drift, and it really helps to just touch the rail in a rail drift right at the end of the first straight before you keep on drifting into an air drift, just to get that little bit of extra speed to make it. You really want to stay horizontal at your height level to be able to make it, and straighten out when you land. You can use some side attacks as well to position your ship at a good spot and extend this drift into the refill section all the way into a real drift on the right side. Right before the chicane turn, straighten out and use some rapid side attacks to go along the apex into a real drift on the right side, and extend that real drift all the way along the straight into a regular drift. So the corners are not easy at all for optimal drifting. It's really quite tricky. Bounce into the rail here into a nice grey drift along this section of road. It's quite a narrow section of road as well. Straighten out before the chicane turn. Use some side attacks to make it through, and then real drift on the left side here until the end of the refiller. You can still refill completely, but then make sure to straighten out when the refiller ends. So you start lap 2 with full energy, boost immediately, keep on boosting up to the dash plate, and then drift into a real drift, or an air drift I mean. So touch the rail right before you go in the air, and then drift through the air, straighten out at the end of the drift. And you can land here and take a little shortcut. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's quite common to undershoot the track, so you have to be careful that you stay horizontal with your ship to not lose any height. Boost along this section. So when you land from the airdrift, it boosts along the first corner, then you want to lose grip partially to make it through the next corners with side attacks and then start boost drifting again. Make sure to catch the full refiller, drift into the hairpin quite a bit and wait until the right timing before you boost, so you can make a clean, nice drift along the full width of the road. If you boost too early there, you will crash, so be very careful there. Also with the airdrift, the checkpoint can be picky there, so you don't want to cut too much of the track too fast. Or the corner checkpoint for the corner to the right might just not count. On lap 2, just boost through the filler, but be sure to take the full length of it and keep on boosting along the straight up to the dash plate. Now we're going a little bit faster from the boosting before the lap even started. So we don't need to touch the rail because that would also cost extra energy. Then immediately boost along this corner, steer into the corner to the left a little bit to lose your grip to go along this cleanly, and right side attack along this one. Corners follow each other too rapidly to boost drift. That's not worthwhile, but make sure to boost drift on this corner to make it on this straight. Start boost drifting from the outside of the track along the apex to end up in the left refiller. So I always go to the outside on the left side, and if you time it well, you can really learn this in such a way so you always end up right before the left refiller. That's really useful. Same with this corner, start from the outside. So the positioning on the road before you start drifts matters on Port Town 2. The track is so narrow, the corners follow each other so rapidly that it matters. So watch this video very carefully if you want to learn it and want to master it. So I have just a little bit of energy left. You can use that, but you can also wait with it. So there's no risk when you start your final boost rail drift on the left side to just use all your energy to finish the race. 1:15. This is already actually pretty close to the world record too. So there's another strategy on Port Town 2 that is much faster again and uses some very advanced floating techniques. I think it's a lot of fun. It adds another dimension to it. So let's watch it first. Yeah, so personally I think AGG enhanced the track. It made it more fun, and you still play the regular drifting strategy, at least for the lap 3. And lap 2 is also very interesting with the start of it. So for people that master strategy 2, this is a really cool extra challenge to see how far you can take it. And you can even take it sub 110, which is really, really fast. So let's analyze it. So for the very first part of the track, it's just the same. Start with a little drift here before the dirt zone. Then drive to the dash plate, real drift into an air drift. But now we wanna go into the right rail of the track with the air drift, straighten out here on this corner, use some right side attacks, and you wanna go under this track, tilt the ship to the right for some great AGG floating position. And you can pretty much fly straight ahead here. What you really want to do in this strategy is watch the minimap. Watch the blue dot on the minimap. That will tell you where you are, and it will tell you if the checkpoints have counted for the corners. So this is a corner coming up, a hairpin before the refiller. We need to be close enough to that corner to make it count. Usually you want to drift a little bit and then into a side attack to set up your great AGG angle, and you can see the blue dot jump around along the corner in the minimap. So here as well, watch the minimap. When you're very close to it, drift to the left and left side attack here, and you'll see the blue dot jump around the corner. Same with this, you always want to go to like the outside of the apex of the corner, and you want to go on the section of track that is just past half of the corner. So when you start exiting the corner, you want to go close to that point, side attack away from it, and that will usually make it count. Now on the end of the lap you want to really float up, and you want to be very careful to land in the refiller. You can change the camera a little bit if it helps you. And you can see the ship is already all the way on its side. Straight along with this building in the background, that's a good orientation point, is the track. To set up the diving angle, I'm using a right side attack and move control stick pad down right to upright to point the nose of the ship down right, perfect diving position, and you can land right before the finish line at almost 3000 kilometers per hour, which is a hell of an entry for lap 2, and that allows for a very, very big shortcut in lap 2 as well. So here we go. Set up the dive, perfect diving angle, and start mashing Z and just hold up on the control stick, and you will. It's not that hard really to land on the middle of the track here. Exactly on the black line. That will tell you it's a TAS. So what's the trick here? Drift, air drift to the right, but if you like fully hold right on the control stick, you will turn way too fast, which is very dangerous. Now the checkpoints are really gonna be very, very troublesome because you want to make them count. What do I do? What do you do to make them all count and still take a big shortcut? Usually I hold just about halfway to the right with the control stick. Halfway, not more than that. That will keep your turning circle wide enough that this checkpoint here at this point of the corner will count, etc. for the rest of them. So this checkpoint will count. Keep ship horizontal, this checkpoint will count, and this one on the right will count. That's usually the one that's gonna be a bitch. And this is just on the edge of what you can get away with. You cannot get away with much more than this, and it's very, very tricky to really take the full shortcut there. Then at this point, basically it's the same as the last strategy. Very efficient drifting is what's gonna get you the best times. So stay on the outside here, on the all the way left side, time your boost well, go along the apex. Straighten out here, left side attack. Left side attack into a drift. Boost here. And boost once on lap 2. Side attack into a refiller and start boosting. And really it's now the same as the last strategy. Hi Svenne, welcome to the stream. Just keep on boosting all the way up to the dash plate and air drift. Again, the checkpoints have to count, but usually on this air drift you're gonna be fine. Boost drift along this corner, side attack the next two, and you want to turn to it just a little bit to make it along the apex of that corner cleanly without touching the sides. And boost drift here. Boost drift here into the left filler. Now the hairpin coming up is very tricky. You want to drift into that quite a bit and wait pretty long with your boost to go along it cleanly as well. Stay on the outside here, time your boost well along the apex. Now we have a lot of energy left. In fact, we have enough energy left for 2 more boosts. And for the best times you want to just go 2 more boosts along the final corner. It's pretty long, so there's definitely time for that. It does mean this chicane turn is very dangerous at the end of the race, but you can just about make it. And then blow away all your energy on the final boost rail drift for potentially even a sub 110 time. Now that's quite a bit faster than the world record, so there's a lot of room for improvement left on this track. I think the AGD stuff is really fun to do. Yeah. So that's it for the Port Town 2 tutorial. Again, thanks a lot to Jack20 for making the demos for this track. That's so we can all learn how to play it well. That's it.